Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing lab 4-3, which is a comprehensive case for the Dillard store data. We're going to create a geographic data visualization in Tableau and in Power BI. So to begin, we're going to open up Tableau 2020. I'm not even recording. Oh yes, I am. Just kidding. Sorry about that. Tableau 2020.2. White icon. Takes a little minute to load. Okay, and once it's loaded, we're going to go scroll all the way down to Microsoft SQL Server. I know sometimes you want to say SQL, but it's actually SQL. And make sure your server is there and your database is WCOB_Dillards. We're going to hit sign in. Once the connection is processed, you are just going to create a new custom SQL. Double click. Yes, double click. And in order to create that new custom SQL, we're going to put in a little code here. So I'm going to type in that code and I'll be right back. All right, so once my code is in, I'm going to click OK. Looks like there has been an error, so let me fix that and I'll be right back. Sometimes the R looks like a T to me, so I'm just going to, oh, okay, hold on. Let's try this again. T, not an R. Yeah, in coding, just make sure that your spelling is right. Or even a space. The spacing can be off and it'll throw it off. So I'm going to try it again. And now it is ready, and we're going to move on to the next couple of steps. So just for this one, I see that it has auto-populated a text for state, and I'm actually going to go ahead and change that because you want your state to be a state/province. And yeah. All right, so I'm gonna update now. May take a minute, and you'll see here some information populates. So after that, I'm gonna go to sheet 1, and in sheet 1, I'm gonna double click on states. Takes a minute. It populates a map with blue dots. All the blue dots just tells you where Dillard has a store. And then to make this data even more meaningful, we're going to add an average. And to do so, you're going to double click on average. And it's actually going to default to a symbol map. However, we're going to want a filled map, like such. And now, alright, so now we're going to open up a new instance of Tableau. To do so, we're going to do new data source. Once again, go down to Microsoft SQL Server. Hopefully your server information is still there, so you don't have to type it in, and then you're just going to click sign in again. So instead of creating a new customer query, this time we're going to drag certain elements of the table to create a relationship. So we're going to start off by dragging the transact into the drag tables here. And then you're going to drag store. And so actually, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. What I'm going to do first is once my transact is, my transact table is here, I'm going to double click it, and then I'm going to add store. By doing that, you can now see a table that kind of shows how the relationship is joining here. The join indicates that there is an inner join based on transact store and store store. Yep, transact store and store store. Once I do that, I'm gonna once again make sure that my attributes are appropriate for each data types. I see here that the state is once again a text type, and I'm gonna change that to geographic role, state, and province once again. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and update now. We'll see some information populate, and then I'm gonna go back to sheet 1. In order to kind of start off on a clean slate once again, I'm gonna go in and remove state and some average, like such, and now we can follow the instructions. All right, so now I'm gonna double click state. All right, okay, so this is just an error message that we're getting. So in order to get rid of that, it's actually being caused by this first custom query that we made. So let's just go ahead and close that out. You can click OK. And now we're gonna select state. Sorry about that. So we're gonna go ahead and double click on state. And here it's gonna bring up a map with a blue dot on each of the state where Dillard's has a store. And then to make this information more meaningful, we're gonna add average transaction amount to this view. You're gonna start by double clicking on trend amount, which is right here. You're just gonna double click on that. It may take a couple minutes, so just bear with it. And the default is, the default value for this measure is sum. However, we're gonna need to change that. So in order to do so, we're gonna just hit this little white button and go to measure sum and change that to average, like such. And it's gonna take a couple minutes, make some edits. Your map should look something like this. And once again, we're gonna see how Tableau defaults to a symbol map, which is this one that's boxed in. So in the Show Me tab, we're just gonna click on the filled map as such. All right, so once your map comes up, we're gonna click on Arkansas. And you're gonna have the option to keep only. Let's try that again. Keep only, okay. And now I'm gonna click city, double click that. So I'm gonna have to bring this back up, double click city. And now we'll have blue dots showing only the stores within the state of Arkansas. All right, so after this, we're gonna notice that there was kind of a change in the graph again. And this is due to the fact that Tableau doesn't recognize city lines. So it's just easier to read if you select a bar chart. So right below it, just click on that one and you'll see something with horizontal bars under the Show Me tab. And if you click on the Show Me tab, you can actually get a better picture of your bar chart. That way you don't have anything interfering in. All right, so now we're gonna go to, you'll see like, I cannot pronounce, Mail Online has like the largest number of transactions. It looks like Pine Bluff has on average, the smaller number of transactions. Second runner-up to larger is Little Rock. But anyways, this is just a nice way to help interpret data. But we're going to go back to data source, continuing on with our project here, and double-click transact. Okay, and we're going to bring in skew like such. One second. Okay, so the placing of it really matters. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the skew one again. And I'm gonna put store. Oh wait. It's important to go ahead and make sure that transacts double clicked. Right, and we're gonna try to, I've removed the store again, and we're just gonna try to bring it. Just make sure, like I said earlier, your spacing is far away, I guess. Okay, and so now we're gonna add in skew, and to do so, just kind of like next to it. And you'll see that transact is now having a union with store and skew, and then we're gonna do department like such. Yep, something like that. Yep, everything looks good up to now. All right, and so now we're gonna go back to our sheet 2. And as we previously saw, MyMail Online is the largest, or has the highest average transaction amount. So we're gonna click on it, keep only, and it should look something like this now. Okay, so the department and SQU data are I can't pronounce that. Anyways, they have a hierarchy. And you're going to begin by double clicking on the depth desk, which is this one. I'm going to double click on like such. So then to drill down further into the data, we're going to add the department decade data to the chart. To do so, we're going to double click on desk DESC. So this one. To add a little bit more detail. And we're going to drag and drop desk on top of depth. Okay, so we're gonna take, I can't pronounce them, so just watch my mouse. But we're gonna drag this one on top of this one, and then you're gonna hit OK. You'll notice that it has like a little box towards the front of it. So you're actually only going to need one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and remove one of them. And now I'm going to click the little plus sign, and we'll see our information shows up to specify what has been bought per department, kind of like what we talked about earlier with the hierarchy of department and such. Okay, so that's enough, or that's all you have to do really with Tableau. Now we're actually going to open up a new application, and it's called Power BI. So I'm going to come down to the P section and look for my Power BI. Actually, I'm going to have to search for it because it's not there. So give me 1 second while I look for it. But yes, Power BI, and we'll be back. Awesome. So it was under my tools here. So I'm going to on that. It's going to open up my Power BI. And then once it's open, we'll be on our way to complete the rest of this lab. All right, and once your Power BI loads up, we're gonna select Get Data from SQL Server Database. And then we're going to type in our server and database name. So I'll be back. All right, and then once your server information is in, you identified your server and your database. I'm going to hit OK. I think I might have said. And actually, I'm going to go back and just make sure that before you go into your putting your server information, you click the direct query button as instructed in the book in the instructions, and then hit OK. And then hit connect.
I'm going to click department, SQU, store.
Okay, so we're just gonna select department, SQU, store, and transact. Once these are selected, just go ahead and click load. It's gonna take some time for the data to load, but you'll see how the tables populate in the fields list. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it while that happens. Okay, and so now our fields are here. I'm gonna expand this, select state. And once you select state, you're gonna see this little map show up in the far left. It's called a symbol map, showing each state that is listed in the sort table. So in order to compare the average transaction amount across each state, you're going to expand the transact field, and then you're going to select tran_amount as such. And you see it's kind of loading there. It's doing its thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it while it does its thing. Okay, so under visualizations, you'll see the fields that we selected. You'll see under location, we have state, and under size, we have tran amount. So we're actually gonna click this little caret and change it from sum to average, and you'll see how the value, or at least the little dots, change. Yep, there it is. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is copy this map. So what you're gonna do is sorry, before we do it, it's just to drill down into the average transaction amount in the city of Arkansas. So we're gonna duplicate it, and to do so, you're just gonna select copy. I'm gonna actually do Control-C and then Control-V, like that. And now we'll have two. And I'm actually gonna change the visual type to be a bar chart. Clustered bar chart, actually. Which is the third one. I'm gonna change the visual chart to a bar chart. Okay, so now we're gonna add filters. And to do so, we're gonna make sure that your bar chart is clicked. And in this state filter, click on the little caret, and we're gonna click AR for Arkansas, like such. And that's just kind of seclude our information there. So our information right now is showing the amount, transaction amount, sorry, the average of transaction amount by state. However, just to kind of get a little bit more specific information, under the fields section, we're going to add city. And it's going to take a little bit to load, but now you're able to see the average of transaction amount by state and city. So in this case, it's the state of Arkansas and all the cities that have a store within. So from this information, we can tell that the city of Maumelle online has the largest average of transaction amount in the state of Arkansas? Okay, so I'm gonna take this graph. You see I've changed the size a little. So what we're gonna do here is Control C, Control V, and sometimes I paste it right on top. And I'm just gonna place it right here. And so I'm gonna filter the city to just show me Maumelle online. And now we can specifically see the information for the transaction amount by state and city, specifically Maumelle online. Okay, so kind of similar to what we were doing in Tableau earlier, we're gonna take this depth deck and put it on top of this one. And you're gonna see it's gonna create its own little, I guess, hierarchy here, and then you're just gonna click it. And you'll see there's starting to process some changes. So I'm gonna pause it while it makes those changes. So actually it's not gonna do any changes on its own. You actually have to do it kind of manually. What you'll have to do is just right click on this purple bar and select drill down. And now you see the little circle, the wheels are spinning there, computer is working, and you'll see that so you see here, you know, this information is kind of generalized by department. However, you can continue to specify information for each department. For example, I like to shop in ready to wear. No, let's just do shoes. Shoes are cool. Anyways, you can right click, select drill down. Once again, you'll see the information load, and you'll see how you have now children's shoes. I guess shoes is its own category, but there's better shoes. I know I don't know what better shoes are, but I probably would shop in the women's shoes. But yes, you have, once again, an average of transaction amount. Okay, so that's, I mean, you can continue to do it for each department to kind of see which information you specifically need. So I'm gonna draw back up. Oh, and you can also use these little two arrows. But anyways, that is the end of this lab. Thanks for watching.